Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Welcome to Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Mandir, Gopinath Bhavan, Shri Vrindavan Dham.
Jai Ho.
Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Gopal Gauri Guru Varga ki jai, Pratik Pavan Shri Nityanand Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai, Radha Raman Ju ki jai, Didi Maharaj ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Gaur.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas. Happy birthday, Lavanga. Radhe Radhe.
Happy birthday. Is that Lavanga of
You know what Lavanga
Happy
is.
Birthday? No, I just didn't know. So, we just reset us to the other Kanpur noise. We will begin with Mangalacharan, page 1 of this book, Sri Gaudiya Giti Guccha. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamala.
Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Audayyamadhuryamunaishthayuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tvam Shirasam Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Padam Janataika Vritti Chaitanya Leelamrita Sarisan Narayanam Tvam Satatam Prapadye Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Ashtanya Deshatarine Namo Vishnupadaya Gaura Preshtaya Bhutale प्रपञ्चपालिने जीवदुःखे सदर्काय श्रीनाम प्रेमदायिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वतीति नामिने श्रीवर्षभारती देवी दयिताय कृपाब्धये कृष्णसम्बन्धविद्यानोदयिने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योज्ज्वलप्रेमध्य श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिदा श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमस्ते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये निलकारिणे रूपानुगनिरुद्धाप सिद्धान्तद्वन्द्वहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षान्मयीराज्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भरसम्बुधे पदं भुजायते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगमरायते गौराविर्भावभूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टासजनप्रिय वैष्णवः सर्वभौम श्रीजगन्नाथाय ते नमः वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां सुरतौ पङ्गो मम मन्दं मतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदं भोजो राधामदनमोहनो दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमद श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवो प्रेष्ठादिभिः सेव्यमानः स्मरामि श्रीमन्द्रसरसारम्भी वंशिवततस्थितः कर्षन् वेणुस्मरैर्गोपी गोपीनाथश्रीस्तुनः वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्तव्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहागावग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दं विवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मसपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनं हरे नाम Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman, page 359 in the Sangha.
And Jiva Pavana Prabhu is here, so very, very happily we can announce that the bhajans and kirtans will always be, if you scroll to the bottom of the thread, you'll find that he posts the bhajans and kirtans so that we can all sing in unison together, no matter where we are in the world. Such a beautiful seva. Thank you so much, Jiva Pavana Prabhu. Page 359. Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman.
Thakura Vaisnavapada, page 38.
Starts Thakura, Thakura Vaisnavapada.
Shuniyachi sadhu mukhe bole sarvajan, page 51. Shuniyachi sadhu mukhe bole sarvajan, Srila Prabhu Shri Rupa Goswamipada ki jai. Shri Srika Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Jaya Jaya Nityananda Rohini Kumar, page 64. Ujjvala Varana Gora Varadeham.
Oh, which one?
Ujjvala Varana Gora Varadeham.
Page 270 starts UJJBALA. Ujjvala Vardhana Gaura Varadeham. 270.
pranamami cha Shri Sachidananda, Tam pranamami cha Shri Sachidananda, Tam pranamami cha Shri Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai. If you've ever read the translation to this very beautiful Ashtakam, Shri Sachitanya Ashtakam, it has so many beautiful explanations about the beauty of Shri Sachinandan Gaurahari Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is composed by Shri Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. But when he is writing this, it's just amazing. We've heard that the main ashtra, the weapon of Sachinandan Gaurahari is his beauty. And when you see through this, through the vision of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, you see how beautiful he is. It even tells how he's dancing, how he bites his lip and swings his chadar above his with his hand on his hip as he's dancing, and how his hair, as it's beating against his head, with the dust is rising and perspiration is coming, how it's making alakavali. Like we put gopi dots, but his alakavali is changing every moment as his hair is beating against his forehead. All sorts of beautiful designs are being made with his curling locks. So it's just such a beautiful meditation on Sachinandan Gaurahari Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sudevi is requesting Soy Kevashinailo Shyamana. Would you like to lead? What page?
Page 183.
Page 183. And if you don't have a songbook, Jiva Prabhu very kindly post the bhajan in the comment section of the thread. So just scroll to the most recent post of Jiva Prabhu, and there you will find the bhajan, and you can follow along.
And it starts S-O-I. Shoi. 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 Just do it when it's comfortable. If I can't hear
So everyone can follow along. goes very low and very high.
Namaha
Jaya
Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavatamrita ki jai, Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Satyananda Gaura Hari ki jai, Hari Rama Sankirtan, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Gaura. So Sudevi dressed Thakurji today again, very beautifully, and we had a request for early darshan. So I hope you don't mind. Shri Radha Vinu Bihari Ki Jai.
Okay, so that's darshan of everyone for now. Okay. It's okay, I'm just trying to put it back. Okay. I think this is good. Just 1 minute, dear devotees. Sorry. Huh? Govinda Damodar Madhaveti, Govinda Damodar Madhaveti, Govinda Damodar Madhaveti, Govinda Damodar Madhaveti.
Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Gurave Gaur Chandraya Radhikaya Tadale, Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayaniti Namine. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam padanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate giring yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad, astottara Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja. And the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam into the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad, astottara Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanga Gauriya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present, and future, including all of you who are present with us today, I offer my Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. So for us, tomorrow is a very important, auspicious holy day, and the following day, tomorrow we will be observing Lalita Saptami, the appearance day of Sri Lalita Sakhi, and then the next day is the appearance day of Srimati Radhika, Sri Radhashtami, as well as the appearance day of Vishaka Sakhi. So it's very, very important, auspicious holy days, and so we're preparing for that
I know there will be many different programs around the world which will be live streamed, broadcast, Zoomed, or Facebooked. So I know many devotees will be attending all of those different festivals, which is wonderful. As much as one can, one should bathe themselves in the glories of Srimati Radhika. Sri Narottam Das Thakur, he states in that bhajan, Radhika Charanarenu Bhushana Kuriyatanu, that whoever doesn't want to hear her glories, I don't even want to hear their names. Nahi Jeno Shuni Tarun Nam. Whoever does not want to hear the glories of Srimati Radhika. Even Krishna is desperate to hear those glories. What to speak of the benefit anyone else can attain. And especially those who are coming in the line of Rupa Goswami, who are aspiring for her service. Her glories are everything. So we're very fortunate that from tomorrow, Lalita's Sakhi's Day, and then the next day, Vishaka Sakhi's Day and Sri Radhashtami, we will be able to somehow focus on their glories and their pastimes. So today I wanted to continue with going beyond Vaikuntha. Yesterday Srila Gurudev was speaking about so many different subjects, but really he was going into more deeply what is Yogamaya and what is Mahamaya. Yogamaya is Krishna's transcendental internal potency by which he's able to perform his pastimes, by which all of his transcendental associates are also able to perform pastimes with him. She's able to, I'm going to use the word, cover them. Krishna, so that he forgets I am God, and the Brajabasis, so that they also don't know that he is God. So that a very beautiful, sweet, natural relationship of love and affection can predominate. Otherwise, if he's always in that position of God and everyone is in that position of, oh my God, then there will be fear, awe, and reverence. And Krishna says, you can read it in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, that devotion, that bhakti or that devotion, which is predominated by a mood of awe and reverence, out of fear, this does not attract me. But the chastising words of the Brajabasis, of my mother and father, of the gopis, this attracts me and completely captivates my heart. So having this understanding, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given to this world something very special. He is tasting that prema ras, that highest mood of love and affection, and he's also distributing something of that. That all jivas, all of you should experience some of this nectar. Raga marga bhakti loke korite pracharan. He is preaching to the world the path of Raga Marga Bhakti. Some people have this idea, oh, Raga Marga Bhakti, we should keep that very far away. Those people who have that mood have no true attraction to the moods of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami and what our line is trying to give. If we only ever remain on the surface in that mood of awe and reverence and fear and don't aspire for that which Krishna himself wants to give us in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then we really will not be endeavoring to serve his inner heart's desire. That is why it is so essential to be under the guidance of a Braj Rasik Bhavuk, Anuragi Vaisnava, and a dear associate of Krishna. From them we can understand what is the purpose of all of what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. Who he is, what he came to give, what Rupa Goswami came to give, what all of our Guru Varga came to give. And we should somehow try to become able to receive that. So there are certain ways that we can become qualified to receive it. It's not by our own power, but we can attract that mercy by our endeavor and our sincerity. And that mercy will come to us. Raga Marga Bhakti means the path of spontaneous, natural love and devotion for Krishna, which is not confined or defined or oppressed, suppressed, repressed, and depressed by the mood of awe and reverence. The example our Srila Gurudev gives quite frequently is of Mother Yashoda. When she heard that Krishna was eating dirt, she asked him to open his mouth so she could see inside. Let me see, let me see. And he's like, mm-mm. She said, open your mouth. So when he finally opens his mouth, she sees inside the entire cosmic manifestation, millions of universes. And then she sees our universe. Then she sees our earth planet. Then she sees Vrindavan. Then she sees herself looking into his mouth. And she doesn't think, oh my God, I'm so sorry for treating you like my son. Please forgive me. She thinks, oh my God, perhaps a ghost has entered my son. Oh my Narayan, please help my son. She prays to Narasingha Shalagram to protect her son. She's not thinking my son is Bhagavan. She's just thinking maybe some negative influence has come to him. So let me protect my son. So this mood of spontaneous, natural, human-like love and affection predominates the Brajavasis. Whereas we have seen on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjuna, as he's feeling some hesitation to fight, finally after Krishna gives him so many instructions, Krishna has to give him a little bit more convincing evidence. So Krishna manifested his Virat Rupa, universal form, to Arjuna. And at that time, Arjuna began apologizing profusely. I'm so sorry for calling you friend. I'm so sorry for sharing off your plate, for hanging out and speaking so intimately with you, for being so informal with you. Please forgive me. You are the Supreme Lord of everything. So this example is given to show the difference between Aishwarya Bhav or Aishwarya Gyan, knowledge of the Lord's opulence, which creates a mood in the heart of awe and reverence, and the mood of the Brajavasis, where even if he manifests, Krishna manifests some opulence, some amazing form, the Brajavasis don't become confused by that. It only increases their natural, human-like love and affection. When the cowherd boys see that he's doing something amazing, they're like, woo, beautiful, okay, let's go and play. The gopis, they'll see him manifest some Vishnu form, they offer pranam and they pray, where is Krishna? When Mother Yashoda sees in his mouth, she sees all the universes and she thinks, it's a ghost, let me protect my son. When Krishna's lifting Govardhan Hill, all of the cowherd men are also trying to lift it with their sticks, thinking we're also assisting. Maybe Narayan Shakti is coming through him. We heard it from an astrologer once, but no one thinks he is God. That is the speciality of Vrindavan. And by the potency of Yogamaya, not only do the Brajavasis not think that Krishna is God, but Krishna also forgets. Mugdata comes. So much so that he becomes subservient, even fearful. When his mother raises a stick and chases him, he becomes afraid, really afraid. And this is the speciality of Yogamaya. And Mahamaya, she's like the manifestation, extension of Yogamaya, but in the material world. And her function is to cover the jivas, who want to enjoy separately from Krishna. So by her potency, the three gunas, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are playing upon us to the point where we think, I am this body, this is my microphone, my harmonium, this is my hair. I used to have a white streak, now I have one big white patch. I have so many different things about myself that I think this is me, my place, my wife, my family, my money, my whatever. I and mine. So the false ego, the mind, the intelligence, and the body. So yesterday, Srila Gurudev was speaking about what is real and what is not real. We should understand that the material energy is real. Matter is real. But because it manifests from the Lord and then again unmanifests, it's considered temporary. So it has a manifestation and then a lack or an unmanifestation, and yet it is considered real. However, our affiliation to these things, the feeling of ownership, possessive mood toward material things, this is considered unreal or false. And so the substance itself, the viewer, the whatever it is, that can be considered real. But the feeling of relationship, ownership, possessive mood toward material things, that this is mine and this is my relationship with that, that is considered false. And that falsity is known as Maya, or that which is not, or illusion. So Srila Gurudev was bringing us into some Maya Tattva, and this is essential for those who are aspiring on the path of bhakti to understand Maya Tattva, so that we can differentiate between that which is and that which is not. Reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. This is the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. Cutting everything which is unfavorable, which is cheating, which is illusory, and establishing Bhagavat Dharma, means the relationship of the soul to Bhagavan, or God, in love and affection as the ultimate truth. Another name for that is Sanatan Dharma, or the eternal religion of the soul, or as Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur very succinctly put it as the title of his book, Jaiva Dharma. The natural, eternal occupation, duty, or nature of every jiva. That is, that they are an eternal servant of Krishna. They are part and parcel of Krishna. They are from him, and they are meant exclusively for his purpose. So this has many different names: Jaiva Dharma, Sanatan Dharma, Bhagavat Dharma. Sanatan means, it's a conjugation of two words, sada and tan, that which always exists. It means that which is eternal, which always is that way. So the nature of the soul is always that it is an eternal servant of Krishna. That cannot be erased. So even the desire to merge into Krishna's Brahmajyoti, or into his form, because it is devoid of service, that is not in alignment with the nature of the soul, and therefore any desire that is going toward that cannot be considered bhakti, and it cannot be considered the nature of the soul. So therefore, jnana, karma, adi, and all of that is rejected. It is not part of devotion to God, and is not in alignment with the nature of the soul. So our Guru Varga, our Gurudev, our Guru Parampara, Rupa Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the essence of all Vedic literature, has given us this particular message. The message that the only thing that will fully satisfy us, and also that means the soul, and that will fully satisfy Krishna, is unprecedented, unceasing, materially unmotivated bhakti, or love and devotion for Krishna. So now we will continue going beyond Vaikuntha. This is a beautiful commentary by our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, on the beautiful heart's transcendental revelation of Sri Sanatan Goswami, known as Brihad Bhagavatamrita. So before entering into this beautiful treasure, we will pray in the dust of their lotus feet. Vairag Juga Bhakti Rasam Prayatna Apayanan Mam Anubhikshamandam Kripam Vidirya Paraduk Duki Sanatanasvam Prabhum Ashrayami. This is a verse by Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, begging for the mercy of Sanatan Goswamipada. Praying in the dust of their lotus feet that may even a particle of their moods, which are present within these pages, manifest within our hearts. So I was telling before that why do we need to know Maya Tattva? If we don't understand what is Maya Tattva, then we might not be able to discriminate properly. So if we are told by Guru and Vaishnavas and Shastra and Krishna, Hari Guru Vaishnava Guru Sadhu Shastra, about what is and also what is not, then we will more easily be able to discriminate. Sometimes devotees get this idea that I only want the sweetness, and I don't need to think about or know about the other stuff. But then when the other stuff comes along, it also might appear sweet. And if you don't know what is unfavorable, then it's very easy to fall victim to the unfavorable thing. So we see again and again throughout our Shastra, throughout all of our Shastra, even look at the first few verses of Upadeshamrita, Nectar of Instruction by Rupa Goswami. He's telling what is the qualification for Guru. First one. Actually, it's some of the qualifications. It's what Guru is not and what Guru is. Guru controls all of these urges. Vacho vegam, manasakrotha vegam, jihva vegam, udara upashta vegam, etan vegam, yo vishaheta dhira, sarvam apimam pritibim shashishyat. Means he can control the urges of the speech, urges of the tongue to want to speak everything. He controls the urges of the mind, of anger, of the tongue, belly, and genitals. He can control all of these things, and only someone who can control all of those urges is qualified to accept disciples all over the world. Pritibim sasishyat means in this world, sasishyat, to accept disciples. And then the next verse says, atyahara. It's telling what is unfavorable for bhakti. Those things which are detrimental. Over-consuming through our senses. Ati ahara. Sometimes it's said to be overeating, but I've understood this eating to mean eating through the medium of all of our senses. Ati ahara. Prayasha means to over-endeavor for mundane achievements. Prayasascha, and so forth. Prajalpa, speaking about things which are not related to bhakti, means speaking gramya katha. Absorbing our minds in anything other than Krishna Katha. Like we've seen these days, so many stalwart preachers have become completely overcome by Maya in the form of the COVID hoax versus not hoax battle. And before it used to all be about bhakti, now it's just about all of this other stuff for months. And I'm like, come on, tell us about Krishna. So this is how one sense which is left unchecked can completely pull someone away. I'm like, for years and years you're preaching about Krishna, and suddenly the mind's been taken away by this subject. So this is just an example. So prayasha, cha, prajalpa. I was talking about prajalpa. There's transcendental prajalpa and there's material prajalpa. Transcendental prajalpa is when one cannot stop speaking about Krishna. They're just constantly gossiping about Krishna and Krishna's pastimes, his names, forms, qualities, and pastimes, and his relationship with his devotees. This is transcendental prajalpa, and material prajalpa is when one cannot stop speaking about anything other than Krishna. Talking about nonsense, this movie, that thing, this nonsense, mundane relationship. Oh my God, did you hear about her? Did you see what she was wearing? Did you? All of this kind of thing that most of us like to absorb our minds in 24 hours a day. This is called prajalpa. Niyama agraha. Under adherence or over adherence to the rules and regulations of scriptures. To which extent it can become unfavorable for bhakti. And then janasangas means associating with worldly minded persons. With janasanga, with that, everything else becomes uncontrolled. In the same way that with sadhu sangha, everything becomes favorable for bhakti. With asat sangha or jana sangha, everything becomes unfavorable for bhakti. With worldly minded association, what happens? Then our words end up becoming about nonsense activities. We start over-consuming. We start over-endeavoring for material things. We start speaking about mundane things. We don't even worry about accepting or rejecting what is favorable or unfavorable in Scripture. We just neglect it and do anything that our heart desires. Means our material desires take control. Our senses take control, like wild horses running here and there and just pulling us toward any material thing. This is the effect of worldly-minded association. Worldly-minded association doesn't mean that I went to the store and I purchased something from the clerk and I said good morning, and then this is not worldly-minded association. Worldly-minded association means opening your heart and, let's say, accepting that association into your heart. Oh yes, okay, so I have my belief, you have your belief. So I will accept your belief, and you can accept my belief, and we'll come to a nice compromise. This can be also worldly-minded association. And lolium means greed for material things. So in that worldly-minded association, all of those things which are unfavorable for bhakti come about. And not just unfavorable, shatvir bhaktir vinashyati. They are destructive to our progress on the path of bhakti. And then even in the next verse, Rupa Goswami is telling, again, sanga tyaga, avoiding unfavorable association is favorable for bhakti. And then we have the verse which defines surrender to Krishna. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam. Accepting whatever is favorable for bhakti and also avoiding or rejecting whatever is unfavorable. Again, it is showing that there is discrimination. This must be there. And those devotees who say, don't worry about discriminating, that is actually detrimental association. Because if you don't worry about discriminating, you will invariably become subjected to mundane association. And because you have not discriminated, it can drag you away from the path of bhakti. Drag us away from the path of bhakti. So again and again, these things are told. And then right from the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, again, discrimination is given. Right from the outset, right from the beginning, it is saying, reality distinguished from illusion, rejecting all kinds of cheating forms of religion. Kaitava dharma, and establishing truth. So this is essential for devotees. That's why those who are aspiring to actually become devotees, that's what I consider myself, that I'm a hopeful aspirant of one day becoming a devotee, that this Maya Tattva is also necessary to understand. That is why our Guru Varga, that's why Mahaprabhu, that's why Krishna, that's why all of our Shastras also tell about the nature of illusion, so that we can distinguish reality from illusion. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada explained that actually so much more energy must be expended to showing us what is not, so that we can understand the value of what is the reality. So he had to spend so much energy, expend so much energy, even to the point of his departure from this world. He felt, as our Srila Prabhupada said, disgusted that he had to spend so much time trying to clear and cut these jungles of what is not, the jungles of Sahajya, the jungles of Mayavad, the jungles of atheism, the jungles of Apasampradaya, the jungles of mental speculation, all kinds of things which are not bhakti. He had to spend so much energy cutting that he felt disgusted. Because really, what did he want to give? He himself said, what did he want to give? Shri Rupa Manjari Pada Se Mor Sampara Se Mor Bhajana Pujan. He wanted to give Rupa Anuga Bhakti. Shri Rupa Anuga Bhakti Da. This is what he wanted to give. But he was spending so much time cutting jungles. So he actually spoke these words just before he disappeared from our vision in this world, that I wanted to give this thing, but I was not able to give it. So he was feeling somewhat dejected about that. And then our Srila Prabhupada also, he started when he first went to the West, and he was trying to give these things. And then you see how he made some adjustment and started speaking a lot more generally. You're not your body. Chant Hare Krishna. Do service. Distribute my books. Before he was speaking about these higher, I wouldn't say higher, but more deep subjects, specifically about development of bhakti, Rupanuga Bhakti. And then he adjusted his approach. And our Srila Gurudev, Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja, also had made a vow that they've already cut these jungles and struggled so hard to cut the jungles. So I don't need to do that. I can just give what is Rupanuga Bhakti, what is there in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam. I don't need to do all this jungle cutting. But then after some time he realized, I also have to do this. So he spent some years really focusing on what is our goal. And then after some time he said, I remember when he said that, now we need to go back to the beginning, to the drawing board, and start telling you how to get to that goal. And then again, we were going to Prahlad Maharaj Charitra, Dhruva Maharaj Charitra, Chitraketu Maharaj Charitra, the 24 gurus mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, all sorts of more foundational, essential things. So this is something that our Guru Varga has to do. They have to distinguish this reality from the illusion for our benefit. Okay, thank you for mentioning this, for giving the definitions of compromise. It's essential to understand that, and also I always speak very fast and quite impassioned, and I forget that there are so many viewers who are from different countries. So please forgive me for my exuberance. I kind of get into a mode, and I forget who I'm speaking to. And in fact, I don't know who comes on. Sometimes I look down and I see different names, and always very happy to see each and every one of you joining. So we will continue reading now about Mahamaya. Just a little bit. So Gurudev is saying the activities of the shadow potency, Mahamaya, are generally either false or temporary, whereas all of the many activities of Yogamaya are eternal. So there's a big difference there. Because Yogamaya operates in the realm of the ever-present, which is something which is quite difficult in one sense to understand, because we operate and live within linear time, past, present, and future. The idea of everything being ever-present all at the same time is some kind of wild idea to try to comprehend. And yet, the Nitya Lila of Krishna is just that.
I just have a question.
Yes.
It says generally for Mahamaya.
Yes.
So are there exceptions? What are the exceptions? If it says generally, it makes it sound like not always, that there are exceptions perhaps, because it doesn't say never or always. It says generally. So I was wondering if that word really means anything in particular, or...
My understanding is...
like maybe Ekadashi or something, that's transcendental, right?
That's got nothing to do with Mahamaya.
Yeah. So does that what it means?
My understanding is that when this word generally is being used here, the activities of the shadow potency, Mahamaya, are generally either false or temporary. I think it's just a adjective of either.
Okay.
In this case.
Okay.
It doesn't really need to be there. It's either false or temporary.
Okay. All right, thank you. Sorry, it just sounded exciting for a minute, like maybe not always.
Whereas all the activities of Yogamaya are eternal.
Thank you.
So when you're looking at eternal time, actually you cannot really call it time, because time has no place in the transcendental realm. In this connection, our Srila Gurudev spoke something quite interesting. He said it is like Ashtakaliya Lila Smaran. You know, when you hear about the high advanced level Vaishnavas, they're able to meditate on the pastimes of Krishna according to the 8 different times of the day. This is not for neophytes or even beginning Madhyam Vaishnavas. This is for very advanced Vaishnavas who are qualified to meditate on the 8-fold pastimes of Krishna at all of these different times of the day. But then our Srila Gurudev spoke something interesting in this regard. He said that the highest level devotees and those who have attained perfection, they don't need to meditate on the Ashtakaliya Lila. They don't need to do this Ashtakaliya Lila Smaran because it's all going on at the same time. So they're able to access any part of any Lila of Krishna at every moment because all of it is happening simultaneously. So this is something that, you know, a singularity, the idea of singularity, it comes into play. And really for our brains, it's actually not truly possible to comprehend. Although we can theoretically comprehend the idea, but because we live in a state of linear time with past, present, and future, then we cannot really comprehend that singularity and the infinite variety within that singularity. So this achintya, bheda, abheda, tattva, or the simultaneous absolute difference and not difference, and all variety within the one and the one within the variety. So it becomes quite complex. Really it is Bhagavat Tattva. How can the impossible be made possible and the possible be made impossible? This can all be reconciled within God. Srila Prabhupada explained that God by definition, or Krishna, can reconcile the impossible within himself. And that is something which is almost impossible for the material mind to comprehend. We can accept it for now, and through Nam Bhajan, taking shelter of the holy names of the Lord, and by being in the association of those who are eternally connected with love and devotion to that absolute truth, Krishna, then gradually we will be able to understand and realize these deep conceptions. So we reconcile, we don't compromise. Reconciliation is always necessary. Compromise means that I'm giving up some of my conviction for your conviction. And if your conviction is unfavorable to Krishna, unfavorable to Guru, and unfavorable to Vaishnavas, and I'm giving up my conviction or some of it to accommodate your conviction, then how can I have nishta? How can I have one-pointedness? And how can I maintain my utsaha, my drive, my greed to move forward on the path of devotion? So Guru Nishta is essential. Ekantic mood, one-pointed mood, and very, very unshakable, unbreakable faith. From Shraddha comes Nishta, means fixed. No matter what, nothing can break or shake. Like Haridas Thakur was being whipped in 22 marketplaces. Not whipped, beaten bitterly till the flesh was practically off of his body. And yet, what did he say? He told the Qazi, or was it Nawab Hussain Shah? Anyway, he told him, he said, even if you cut my body into thousands of pieces, I can never give up the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. That is strong conviction. Whereas most of us might be quiet immediately, but he could not give it up no matter what. Every particle of his being was resonating with the holy name. So he could not give it up. Nishta, ruchi, taste, asakti, attachment, bhav, transcendental, loving, serving mood. Then prem, divine rapture. So these stages of bhakti, once you've gone past the stage of nishta and ruchi and asakti, if you're really experiencing true taste and attachment to Krishna, then how is it possible to be shaken or broken by any material thing? So, coming back to this point here, 1, we should not compromise. 2, we should reconcile when it comes to spiritual subject matters. Now, where does Mahamaya, the goddess who embodies this potency that makes the souls consider their bodies to be their actual selves, where does she reside? This Mahamaya. Within the 8th material covering of the universe. Her complexion is very dark, Shyama. There all is Shyama. In a very beautiful and attractive form, she is situated there. And previously, in that very place, she met Gopkumar. So she's covering, Gurudev is saying here, she is situated within the 8th material covering of the universe. The 8th material covering. So anything within is controlled, in essence, by her. Except for the transcendental personalities who are always above and beyond her control. The speciality of the Jiva soul, which is different than any other spiritual substance, is that because we are Krishna's tatashta shakti, or marginal potency, Krishna tatashta shakti, we are Krishna's tatashta shakti, bheda abhed prakash. We are at the same time different and not different manifestations of or from Krishna. The impossible becomes possible by Krishna's aghatana ghatana patiyasi shakti, or his power to make the impossible possible. Srila Gurudev said that the jiva soul, who is superior energy, is able to be covered by Mahamaya, who is the inferior potency. This is only possible. Even Gurudev said it is quite a strange thing that the superior jiva is able to be covered by Krishna's inferior Maya. This is by that potency, the power to make the impossible possible. So she resides within this 8th covering, and she met Gopkumar in that very place. With some gifts to offer, she came before Gopkumar and said, "Tell me what you desire. Do you desire bhakti? Then I will give you bhakti. Do you want facility to enjoy material happiness? Then I will give you all material happiness. I can give you everything, including bhakti, because I am the sister of Bhagavan. I will give you whatever you desire." So this for us should be a warning that we will be tested. When that time comes, we will be offered every material facility, anything that our material hearts desire. Will we take that over bhakti? Or will we accept bhakti? Will we take enjoyment for ourselves or eternal servitude to Krishna? Which seems like slavery, but actually, when one really tastes that, it dances on the heads of all ananda, all bliss of this material world. Which one will we accept? Will we be tempted by the material offerings or by the bhakti offering that she's giving? And we can actually test ourselves. We might say, "Oh yeah, that's easy. But our Gurudev came into our lives and gave us the same choice. The same choice. Do you want bhakti? Or do you want all material things? And we can check our own hearts, check our own pulses, like Gurudev would say, test your pulse and see, did we really accept the bhakti that he wanted to give us? Or are we still absorbing our bodies, our mind, and our senses in all kinds of material pursuits? then we can see, yes, that choice was given to me, but still I chose to turn my face away from Krishna. Fie on me, fie on me. Gurudev explained that when the mridanga is being played, it makes that sound dik dham, or the sound of churning the butter pot, that sound dik dham, boom, boom. When Mother Yashoda's bangles are chinging, and dik dham means fie on me, that this opportunity for bhakti has come, but instead I'm turning away from that opportunity and running toward all kinds of material pursuits for selfish sense gratification. So the mridanga in kirtan should be a reminder of that. Oh, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is always saying this in his prayers. What have I done? I've wasted my life uselessly. Now in old age, after I've spent all my energy trying to serve everything in this material world, my own senses, now I have nothing left. I have no vitality left. I have nothing left. And now I'm just completely desperate. Please, Krishna, be merciful to me. And Narottam Das Thakur is also saying the same thing. Gaurapahu namajiyamainu prema ratana dhana hilaya harainu. What have I done? I've wasted my life. Doing what? Running after material pursuits, trying to satisfy my senses, and I've neglected the treasure of prem. I've neglected that treasure. So, Gop Kumar is being given this choice. What would we do being given this choice? By her mercy, Gop Kumar emerged from there and again returned to the earth planet. Otherwise, it is not possible to come out from there. So this is something also. One thing we must understand. Labdva sudurlabamidam bahu sambhavante manusyamartadam nityamapi hadhira turnanyate tanapatet anumrityaman nishayashaya vishaya kalu sarvatasyat. That only from the human form can one actually endeavor for perfection. So even after going to the heavenly planets, even after merging in essence into the white light, Brahmajyoti, still jivanti sammukaritam bhavadiya vartam. Because of lack of engagement, because of lack of activity, one will have to come back to the platform of activity, and that is here. Because the soul requires it. The soul's intrinsic nature is Sat Chit Ananda. It requires activity. It requires interaction. It requires feeling. It requires love. It requires happiness. It requires relationship and existence.
So it's not an eternal resting place.
So it cannot be considered an eternal resting place for the jiva. And the only medium by which one can actually endeavor for perfection is this human form. So the human form is considered the most valuable treasure within material creation. Because only from the human form can one endeavor for perfection. So this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam says, until this body is no longer suitable and it falls off, one should utilize every moment for the endeavor, for the attainment of perfection. Because that is what this human form of life affords us. Srila Prabhupada said it gives us a choice. What is that choice? Do I want to remain trapped in this samsara, rotating through 8,400,000 different species of life again and again and again, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, taking birth, becoming diseased and old and dying again and again? Or do I want to get out? That is the opportunity afforded by this human form of life. And much more than that, actually making the endeavor for perfection, which means to engage in the process of sadhana bhajan, the process of bhakti, to awaken divine transcendental love for our eternal beloved, Krishna. So Gop Kumar, by her mercy, was able to emerge from there and again return to the earth planet. Otherwise, it is not possible to come out from there. By our own effort, it is not possible to overcome our illusion and we just simply become more entrapped. And this is confirmed in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by the shlok, Maya Mugdher Jiva Nahi, or Mugdha. Maya Mugdha Jiva Nahi Svata Krishna Gyan. That the Jiva, by his own effort, cannot extract himself from the entrapment of Maya. Therefore, Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, has given us Shastra, which is non-different from himself. And Srila Prabhupada, in his introduction to Bhagavad Gita, explains that he can only be understood by love and devotion. Do I have that pure, undivided love and devotion that is necessary to understand Krishna? Well, I have not yet awakened it. So how do I get that? In the association of the pure devotees. By their association, the desire to serve Krishna is awakened in my heart, and by their association, I will gradually begin to understand Krishna. So Jaha Bhagavatamrita Vaishnava. By all Shastras, he is to be known. How can I understand Shastra? By the mercy of the person Bhagavat, I can understand the Srimad Bhagavat. Therefore, we should depend fully, there we go, on the grace of the Vaishnavas, the spiritual master, and Bhagavan. And we should not try on our own to escape this entrapment. We should depend fully on the grace of the Vaishnavas, the spiritual master, and Bhagavan, and we should not try on our own to escape this entrapment. If we try on our own to escape it, we will end up in a different kind of trap. Because the process of getting out of that is not on our own. As Bhaktivedanta Thakur says, on my own I have no strength. I have no good intelligence. How can we lift ourselves out? Srila Prabhupada, in his purport on this verse from Bhagavad Gita, Daivihe Shagunamayi Mamamaya Duratyaya. Krishna is saying that these divine qualities, it's actually his divine energy, Maya, which is manifested in the forms of goodness, passion, and ignorance, which are playing on us. Mama Maya, my illusion, Duratyaya, is extremely difficult to overcome. Only one who surrenders unto me can easily cross beyond it. And then in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that if one is tied, what we call in English, hog-tied, behind your back with a rope by your arms and legs, can you free yourself? No. And if someone else is similarly bound, can they free themselves? No. Can you free them or can they free you? No. He said only a liberated person or someone who is truly free can liberate or free the bound. So that person who is not bound can unbind the bound. That is what we require, and that is what Srila Gurudev is saying here. Therefore, we should fully depend upon the grace of Vaishnavas, the spiritual master, and Bhagavan. They are not bound. They are free. They are liberated. Therefore, they can free us who are the bound. We are called Nitya Baddha. The jivas of this world have been bound since time without beginning. Anadi karma pale tori bhavanavajale. We have been bound in this material ocean of material existence. And there, who is saying, Narottam Das Thakur, but tori bare nadeki, I don't see any means for deliverance. At this time, as I am being attacked by so many different things, jnana, karma, tagadui, means so many dacoits are coming to me. So many problems are coming to me, like sharks and alligators, one problem after another, like waves in the ocean. At this point, I don't see any other recourse than taking shelter of you, my Lord. Eheno samaya bandhu tumi Krishna kripa sindhu. At this time, Krishna, I see that you are my only friend. And how does that friend manifest to us? Krishna's affection manifests to us. He sends his own ambassadors, his own people into this world in the form of Guru and Vaishnavas to rescue us from this terrible predicament we are in. Having been bound since forever, anadi, there's no knowledge of the time You can say anadi. Adi means the beginning, but anadi means beginningless. We are bound since time without beginning. Anadi, baddha, nitya baddha, eternally bound. Since forever we have been bound. And how can we become unbound? By the mercy of Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas. So we should not even try to escape on our own. We are dependent upon mercy. So what is our medium of escape? Think about it this way. If you were walking in a forest and a tiger started chasing you, and you ran from that tiger, and as you were running from that tiger, you fell in a blind well, an old well that was covered over by grass, and you were trapped deep inside that well. What hope would you have to get out? We only have one way to get out. If you try to climb out on your own, the tiger will get you. And if you don't do anything, then you will also starve to death. So what is your hope at that point? Only loudly calling out for help. And what is the medium by which our loud calling will be heard by Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Govinda Goswami Maharaja explains that the chanting of the Mahamantra is the sound of the souls crying out for mercy. That is how we will call their attention. That is why it is so essential. So, let me just see if there's any question here. No, okay. Next, Narad Muni told Gopkumar. So now our Gurudeva is going to the next section. He's been speaking about Yogamaya and Mahamaya. I just wanted to reiterate on that point that on our own we cannot free ourselves from the bindings of Maya. Even how can we surrender to Krishna on our own? Even Krishna says that if someone tries to approach me personally on their own, their endeavor will not be fruitful. So how do we approach Krishna? I like to think of it like here in India, we have 220 volts coming through the wall and a different shaped plug. And I've come from America, so all of my electronics all have US plugs and they operate on 110 voltage. Or maybe there's a voltage converter. Anyhow, I can't plug the US plugs into the Indian outlets. So I need something to adapt or convert that. That's called an adapter. So Guru is also like that. Guru is the transparent medium by which the jiva can connect to Krishna and Krishna will connect to the jiva. Meaning, if we try to connect directly, it won't work. So Krishna says, if you don't first worship Guru, if you don't first connect to Guru, then you won't be able to connect to me. Your endeavor will be fruitless. Anyatha nishphala bhavet. So pratamam tu gurum pujam. We shouldn't see that Guru is some separate entity. Guru has nothing to take for themselves. That's why I find the words that Srila Prabhupada used, transparent by a medium. Transparent means nothing for themselves. They're a clear medium of transmittance. Everything that Krishna wants to tell us, Srila Govinda Maharaj explained, everything Krishna wants to tell us, he's telling through the mouth of Sri Guru. Guru mukha padma vakya, chite te koriya aikya, arna kori ho mane asha. That I have no other desire, no other hope than the words coming from the mouth of my Gurudev. This is what will purify my consciousness. Chitte te koriya aikya. This is what will purify my mind and my heart. What Krishna wants to tell me, he's telling through his own manifestation as Guru. Guru in the heart, Chaitya Guru, because we cannot directly detect the presence of the soul, of the super soul in the heart. Chaitanya Charitamrita states, Jive Shakshat Nahitate Guru Chaitya Rupe. Then he manifests externally to the senses of the jiva in the form of Diksha and Shiksha Gurus. The same heart Guru manifests externally. And so through that medium we can understand. And everything we also want to tell Krishna, we can tell through the medium of our Gurudev. In the same way that before we do any activity on the path of bhakti, before we worship Thakurji, we call Gurudev, you please come. Before making an offering, before doing arti, before chanting our mantras, this is our first mantra. Before chanting Harinam, Hare Krishna, first we offer a pranam, we call for the mercy of our Guru, the presence of our Guru. So this Guru function is in essence the point at which we connect to Bhagavan. This Guru function, that is Guru Tattva. Guru is not some, real Guru is not some separate entity that has something to take for themselves, that they want to enjoy our love and affection and our money and our bodies and whatever else. This is not Guru. Guru is the transparent medium by which we connect to Krishna. So this is essential for us to understand. Otherwise, on our own, being trapped in Maya, we have no hope to be able to extricate ourselves. So I don't want to go to the next subject right now, because here our Gurudev is telling something else, and it will become, it's going into a different subject matter, and the time is now short. I know it's a little early, but I just want to check and see if there are any questions so far.
Only 3 minutes already.
Okay. Okay, so Jiva Pavana Prabhu has been posting something about reconciliation. And this idea of reconciliation is important and essential. One time, one advanced Vaishnava came into the assembly of our Gurudev and all of the devotees who had come for parikrama. And this Vaishnava, our Gurudev, stood up to honor him and receive him. He gave him the seat of honor. He was senior to our Gurudev in age, in terms of initiation, and so many ways our Gurudev was showing proper respect. And then this personality spoke something which seemed to most of us to be almost a chastisement to our Gurudev in front of all of us. And it was like that. And afterward, he spoke his piece, he got up and he left with his disciples. And then our Gurudev said, what he said, it is true. What he said is right. And he was actually laughing, our Gurudev was laughing. And he explained and immediately reconciled what this Vaishnava had said. It was about speaking too high for an unqualified audience. And our Gurudev qualified that by telling us that Vikriditam Rajavidubiridam cha Vishnum. We've heard about this verse already. That really, qualification cannot come unless we hear from the proper source, the bona fide source, with faith and regard. To think that we can become free from our anarthas, to think that we can become free from lust and anger, greed, madness, envy, and pride on our own without the higher taste. This is actually theoretically and practically impossible. We can cover it for some time, we can pretend it's not there, but it won't be eradicated. Only by the mercy of Hari, Guru, and Vaishnava, especially Guru and Vaishnava, will these things become eradicated from our heart. And how? Only when they place nectar in its place. When that nectar fills it up, then automatically all of the anarthas are kicked out. And so there won't be any semblance of them left. the sanskars, the impressions of the material world since time without beginning, all of the material sukritis, you can call it, those things, the good merits and everything which keeps us bound in karma and in samsara in this world, gradually through sadhu seva and harikatha will become eradicated from the heart. Hearing Rasalila Katha, the glories of Krishna, and Rasalila pastimes from the lips of that person who is completely free from lust, with faith and with regard. Shradhan vito nushinuyat atavarnayadya. This will establish bhakti in the heart, and this is the cure for the disease of lust in the heart, which has kept us bound in the material world since time immemorial until now. So he reconciled it and he explained, yes, what he said is true, and that's why we are doing it like this. And the very next day we were outside and there was a small group of devotees around Srila Gurudev. And he said, you should be very careful. He said, even if any other Mahabhagavat says something slightly different from your Gurudev, he said, it can bring you a seed of doubt. And if you do not reconcile that doubt immediately, then that seed can very quickly grow into a very big tree, and then everything will be destroyed. Why? Because Guru Nishta is the backbone of bhakti. So if we allow a seed of doubt in our Gurudev to fester or to grow, this is very, very dangerous and unfavorable for our bhakti. We can lose everything, even if it is spoken by another Mahabhagavat. That is why it is essential to reconcile. If we understand that this is a great devotee and this is a great devotee, and this devotee said something which apparently seems different than this one, then we must get the reconciliation which will increase our faith in the words of our Gurudev. This is essential. The function of all Shiksha Gurus is to increase our faith in our Diksha Guru. And if they're failing to do that, then we may have to offer pranam and keep some distance until we can develop the reconciliation necessary to understand how it is favorable to increase my faith in the words of my Gurudev. Assuming my Gurudev is also transcendental, which everyone should have this kind of understanding and mood toward their Guru. You were just giving the example of what, Shamarani Didi?
I was just saying, like, she was always getting things reconciled. Question Rani.
Yes. Our Gurudev nicknamed Shamarani Didi Question Rani, because she would question so much and so often to get things reconciled. When things seem to contradict what she had heard or read or from any source, just to get clarification. She would get all verifications from our Gurudev and the evidences from Shastra to prove the points and how to reconcile what she had learned from Srila Prabhupada. And also when there felt like apparent things which she couldn't reconcile, then her next Shiksha Guru was Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, and he helped her to reconcile so many more things. So one time our Gurudev, he was on the phone, I've told this before, after a 1-hour conversation, he gets off the phone, he was trying to help the devotee on the other end, and he said, Guru can reconcile anything. And this is the function of the spiritual master, to be able to reconcile all of our doubts through the medium of Shastra. Tasmad gurum prapadyeta jigyasu shreya uttamam shade parecha nishnatam brahmanyupasamashrayam. They must be well versed in all Shastra, all different lines of philosophical thought, and they must be well versed, especially in Krishna Tattva. Ye Krishna Tattva Veta, say Guru Hoy, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. Who is well versed in all knowledge of Krishna and Krishna Tattva, they are qualified to be Guru. But more than that, then they must be able to dispel all of our doubts through the medium of Shastra. But the most important thing, Brahmanyupa Samashrayam. They are fully saturated in remembrance of Parabrahma Sri Krishna. His names, forms, qualities, and pastimes, 24 hours a day, they are absorbed in their relationship with Krishna. So, Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. I offer my pranam at the lotus feet of such a spiritual master. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Goswamipada Gurudeva ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Shri Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Thank you for bringing up that point about reconciliation. I think it is a very essential subject and essential topic. So tomorrow we will be speaking something about Sri Lalita Saki, and then the next day we will be observing Sri Radhashri and the appearance of Sri Vishaka Saki. So beautiful, beautiful holy days coming up, best of the best. राधा बिहारी जी की जय, राधा रमण जी की जय, गिरिराज महाराज की जय, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि
See you tomorrow.
Okay, so thank you all very much for being with us today and for giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, and for engaging us in our Guru Seva, for which we are indebted, very, very seriously indebted to all of you. So thank you for that. And we look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Radhe Radhe.